Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a new form in Formidable Pro. I've already created the contact form that I use on my site. For today's demonstration, I'm going to create a guestbook form. To begin, we click Add New in the upper left. Now you have to make a choice. You can either build your form on a blank canvas by selecting the option on the right, which reads, Start with a blank form and build anything. And literally, with Formidable Pro, you can build just about any form you imagine, no matter how complex. I know there are some limitations, but I haven't encountered them yet. Since a guest book is similar to a contact form, I'm going to choose the option on the left, where I can build my form from one of the plugin's pre-built templates. Formidable Pro delivers 5 pre-built templates. There's a Contact Us form, a defect bug issue report, a job application, one for real estate listings, and another for collecting user information. Since a guest book is similar to a contact form, I'm going to choose the contact form to start. We'll click the template name and click Create. Let me just describe the screen to you for a moment. We have a menu across the top that corresponds to the admin menu for Formidable. Then we have Build, Settings, Entries, Displays, and Reports, which is a menu that pertains to the form we're currently working on. On the right, we have a list of the available fields, dynamic values that we can use within our form, and key and form actions legend so that we understand what we're looking at. The first item I want to change is the form's title. I'm going to call this Guestbook. And we're going to save that title. This is a description field. We would like to hear from you. Please send us a message by filling out the form below, and we will get back with you shortly. I want to change this description to make it more inviting to someone visiting my site. I'm writing, please sign my guestbook. I'd love to have a record of your visit. Now let's save that description. Let's look at the rest of this template. We have name and last. I know from building my contact form that these will display on the page next to each other horizontally, labeled as first and last name. We have email address. I want to keep that field. Next, there's website. I'm going to leave that one as well because I'm going to show you a nifty little trick for displaying this information conditionally when we build our custom display. The next field is subject. The subject field is necessary for an email message, not for a guest book. I'm just going to come over here and click on this little trash can to get rid of it. Last, we have the message itself, which is a paragraph text field. Let's change the title of this to make it a little bit more guestbook friendly. Let's call it Your Guestbook Entry. And we'll save the title. We have a CAPTCHA, which is the Google reCAPTCHA. I think it's important to have that. But there are 2 more fields that I want to add to this form. I like to know where my site visitors are from, so I'm going to add a country field. Second, I want to have a way to approve this form's entries before they display on my site. Let's add the country dropdown. Drag a dropdown from the field list on the right and place it under Website. Let's change the title to Country and save the title of that field. Now I need to populate the dropdown. I can start by entering each country individually, but there are a lot of countries in the world. How many exactly? Well, depending upon the source, the number of independent countries in the world usually falls between 189 and 196. However many countries there are, it's an awful lot of selection choices to enter into a drop-down list manually. A nice feature of Formidable Pro is the bulk load option for drop-downs. Let's use bulk load to enter our countries. Field choices that are provided to us by Formidable Pro are countries, U.S. states, U.S. state abbreviations, age, satisfaction, importance, and agreement. You can also add options by cutting and pasting a text file into this area on the right. One option per line. I'm going to select countries. And here's a list of all the countries that are available to us in Formidable Pro. I want United States to be the first country on the list to make it easy for U.S. visitors to select that option. So I'm going to do a little cutting and pasting. I'm going to move it back up to the top of the list. And I also want a blank space because I'm not going to force people to choose a country. Let's update field choices. And there you have it. There are all of our options now listed for that field. The last field to add is approval. You can create an approval field either as a checkbox or dropdown. My personal preference is a dropdown. Let's drag another dropdown over and place it under the CAPTCHA. Let's title this one Approved. Save the title. And I want two options. False and true. We'll save those options. I don't want this approval field to display on the form to my site's visitors. The approval field is for my use only. The purpose of the approval is so I can screen content. Any form on a website will frequently draw spam posts, or less so the vitriolic ramblings of some troll posting things that don't reflect the persona of your site. You need to protect yourself from that nonsense. Approving content that appears on your site is your prerogative. Let's set the approval field as an admin-only field, meaning only the admin can see it. We click that little arrow to drop down the field options, and now we have field type. And one of our choices is admin only. I'm also going to choose automatic width. That's it for adding fields. Now we're almost finished. The last thing I want to do is make sure a few of these fields are required. I also want to customize the error messages that display when a required field fails validation. As delivered, the error messages are very generic. I want to make them more specific. Your guestbook entry. The entry is a required field. Click on the field. Choose the field options. Well, this one's already marked as required, which is fine. So let's just change the error message to say your guestbook entry cannot be blank. I'm not going to make country a required field, nor am I going to make website or email required fields. The last name and first name, I am. You should never allow people to post anonymously on a website. This is already required. I know that this is going to be labeled as last name. So let's say last name cannot be blank. And we have first name cannot be blank. That's it. Let's create our guestbook form. Okay, we're done. Notice how once the form is saved, we're automatically brought to the Settings tab, which is the subject of our next tutorial.